Thank you so much. Welcome to Hot Springs World Class High School. Thank you so much for coming to Mackey Theater today. We are so excited for these students to present their student choreography works. If you got a program, you'll notice that there are lots of dances. There are 16 works, and they are all choreographed by 15 choreographers, because one choreographer actually did 2 dances, which is really hard to do at the same time. We want to remind you all to silence your cell phones. We shouldn't have them, right? But adults and other people, silence your cell phones. If you have to leave for an emergency or the bathroom, we get it. Please exit upstage, and we might kick you out or keep you out until there's applause in between the dances, because proper theater etiquette calls for you not to get up and leave during a dance or during a performance, right? So wait for there to be applause, sneak out, go to the bathroom, and come back. But try to hold it, because we got a really cool show for you, okay? If you notice to my left, your right, there is a projection of that will have all the visual arts that have inspired these works. This is an IB dance assessment. Now, not all of these students are IB dance students yet, but some of them are, and this is their assignment. They were to pick a visual art that inspires them, makes them feel something deep down, and create a choreographic work from it. So for this project, we brought in the one and only Mr. Anthony Tidwell. He's sitting right there. And he broke down the principles of art and how you talk about art to all of my dance students. Then my dance students and I, we kind of translated that to choreographic devices. Now some dances, yes, they are pretty and they are fun, but sometimes they have a deeper message or a different message. So as you're watching, especially my middle school dance students, and my future middle school dance students, I want you to look for things that you see repeated. That's called a motif, right? And that's what makes dancing really cohesive. Look at the energy. Is it light? Is it free? Is it bound? Is it heavy? Like, what is it? So think about those things as you're watching, okay? Because guess what? You got to do this in high school, okay? I know. Get excited. What else? Yeah, so each one will have a different work, and we're gonna, we have Miss Maddie Brown down here. She's one of our fabulous crew members. Hey, Maddie. She's gonna be working that projector. So just glance over to the right in between the dances, and you'll be able to see what artwork inspired the dance on stage. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, are you excited? Okay, silence your phones. Be respectful. Give them your energy and love, y'all. If you've ever made like a presentation in class, it's kind of nerve-wracking. Well, when you have other dancers doing your dance, because none of them are allowed to perform in their own dance. That's another thing. So it's really nerve-wracking because you're giving your vision to somebody else to make come true. Isn't that awesome? Okay, I'm kind of stalling because there were sea lunch people coming in. So I think we're okay on the stalling. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, okay, you good? You ready? Okay, remember, look for those repeated things, anything you see. We might have a chance to talk about it at the end of the show if the show goes quickly enough. So think about these things. Art students, I don't know, like look to see if what you see on there is anything like what you see up here, okay? Maybe it's not. That's probably really interesting. Oh, and I have to say this. Please remember that these works are the individual academic and artistic expressions of our student choreographers. They do not reflect my point of view or the point of view of Hot Springs School District. They are just our student voice, our student work, right? Because through this process, we're hopefully teaching these students and myself, we're working to find how to talk to each other about issues that we might not agree on. And so that's okay. If there's a dance up here and you're like, I don't really agree with that, that's okay. But that's their voice, okay? So just remember that it's not my point of view, it's not the school district's point of view, it's their point of view, right? Because your voice is what's important. Does that make sense? Okay, I love you, bye.
I know I have the best of time and space, and was never measured, and never will be measured.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory, glory, oh, glory. Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Everyday women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtapositioning us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, his spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Shots be on the ground, the camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up. Now the war is not over, victory isn't won, but we'll fight on to the finish, and then when it's all done, we'll cry glory, oh glory, oh we'll cry glory, oh glory, oh.
We pledge allegiance to your flag of the United States of America and to your republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for who? For you? For some? Not for us. Not for our people, so please stop saying we equal with your flag of red, white, and blue in one hand. You beat us until we're black and blue with the other beat us, until we're none beat us, until we can't walk straight. Then you put us in chains if we lucky. But for the ones of us who are so lucky, you tell us to put our hands up as some type of sick tribute to your privilege, and then you pull the trigger into our bodies, lay down on your ground, pull the trigger until your clip is empty, pull the trigger until we make your evening news, and then when our children cry, we have to look our children in the eyes and tell them that they have to be cautious. That when they walk your streets, they have to do so in fear, that they have to spend an entirety of their life looking over their shoulder, because you will hunt them down. And you will bury them. Either in a prison system that aims to disenfranchise them or the dirt beneath their feet. And this is all because of that same racism that you love to say no longer exists. But we all know that same racism is the reason that when we want to put a hood on, we resist. The reason that when we go to get these jobs, we're dismissed at the door. The reason that when we go to shop, we're watched in your stores. That racism is the reason that us saying your Pledge of Allegiance feels a lot like a root canal, or a whip's impact against our flesh, or a baton to our head, or a bullet in our back, or tear gas at a Black Lives Matter protest. That racism is the reason that 3 women clenched their purses as I walked through the entrance of this very building. It hurts that I have to remember that the system I was born into is built to work against me. Hurts that I have to remember. Hurts that I have to remember. Hurts that I have to. Hurts that I actually have to remember that you will happily invest more money into the preservation of wildlife than you ever will into the preservation of black life. Let me ask y'all a question. When y'all turn on your TVs and witness another black body laid on your concrete, what do y'all see? Another murder? Another sad story? Another funeral? Do you see the aftermath? I see another child that lost their father. Another single woman trying to raise a man. Another broken home which leads to another child that grows up and suffers the same fate as their father. Which means another black woman that outlives her adolescent son. This country practices a culture that lacks equal rights for blacks. And we love to say that black don't crack, meanwhile y'all shatter our melanin like blacks. My back breaks for everybody who lay at our feet. For every memory I try to erase within your war zones. Late nights rebuilding my PTSD has found its way to the surface. And my hate for this country reminds me that I'm far from patriotic, so it's a little ironic that I pledge allegiance
to your flag of the United States of America, and to your republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for who? For you, not for us.
won't be able to see the rest of her lights. The lights you see right now are spotlights, and those are not the best for dance because they kind of make the body too deep, so I look like a paper doll, right? But I'm gonna take a minute to see if I can redo it, okay? Also back there, we have Miss Allie Gardner. Everybody back there. And we have Miss Ernie Sarter. He is our sound engineer. So, Ernie. They are all students. I don't know if you noticed, but this is a completely student-run show. We have two backstage managers, Miss Janet Sanchez-Ortiz. They are the running crew and the staff, the managers for backstage, okay? So, Ernie, if you'll flip on the house lights just for a minute, I'm gonna try to shut down the light booth, and I will reboot it to see if that will work, and then we'll keep going.
We the people, the steeple of our country that we hold so dear, do salute and sing to this tune, even though we do not hear. The pleas of the land and its ancestors, the corruption we bring has been allowed to fester. Here we stand, but yet thinking into the consequences of our thinking, that this is us, and us is all. Where we gall about our greatest achievements, others fall short and are allowed to suffer. Stare through it all, we are able to muster the energy to fight for money, while the rich laugh, because it's funny. Greed and bigotry, at its best, is not what America is. America is so much more than what we label it as. We, the people.
push him off because of previous experiences that I had had where I didn't.
My mom and I got this job at this restaurant. It was the first job right out of school.
I was working with the school district.
I was so scared that I didn't say anything at the time. Women are generally not believed.
It's really hard for women in the business because you don't want to lose your job. You want to be able to get a job.
The person who's doing it is like invisible. It's this invisible face.
Even now, I kind of just like blame myself. I'm like, if I would have known, if I would have just said no. There's so many ifs.
She, in the dark, found light, brighter than many ever seen. She, within herself, found loveliness through the soul's own mastery. And now the world receives from her dower the message of the strength of inner power.
Women who live with this, who are survivors of it, or who deal with it in any way, they are the courageous ones. That's the courage, is to move forward and to keep going. That's the courageous warrior in all of us.
Tell your story.
dynamic show. Okay, what y'all think? I mean, besides the construction and the live board going out, what y'all think, right? So we're going to try something a little bit different this year. But last year we gave you pins and you could give us feedback and leave us your program. And this year we're going to try to do this a little live. So we have, don't worry, teachers and students, we have like 15 minutes left of school, or like 20. And so I'm not going to send you back to class. You're welcome. We'd like to hear feedback. So we have, as you could tell, you probably could tell, a lot of these dancers were in multiple pieces. We have dancers, y'all come up here, hey dancers. So these were dancers that choreographed in class, but didn't choreograph for the show. Because we have an audition process, and sometimes, deadlines are hard. So it's okay. So we had wonderful works that you just saw, and we thought it might be a little fun for y'all to give us feedback. So Ernie, will you hit the house lights for me? And then Maddie, will you be like my runner? Okay, so do you have think about what, I know like you're probably on overload, right? You just saw 16 different works from 16 different visual arts. Actually, there were a couple that were repeated, right? And so if you saw something that was weird, or you saw something that really touched you and like gave you those heart tingles and you're like, whoa, where'd that come from? We want to hear about it. Or if you just want to tell the choreographer like, whoa, I don't know how you went from that visual art to that dance, and you want to ask them about it, like, you can take this time to ask them. So, do we have any of that? Oh, okay, I see one.
Wait, where were they? I lost them.
I was wondering how you did your leg and your hands when you put like crackles. Yeah.
Well, we practiced for a long time, so once you like hear the music quite a bit, you can get it right on the point where you know it's gonna happen. So just
Thank you.
yeah, that's good news. Okay,
I think some of the most powerful moments was whenever there wasn't any music and you could hear like the breathing of the dancers, so I really appreciated that watching that. It was cool.
Okay, anybody else?
For the one that was empathy,
Empathy, Zinnia, where are you? Hi.
was it the one that, was it the scratching one? That was the one? Okay, so that one really touched my heart, like, bad. I wanted to know what portrayed you to do that work yourself. Like,
why did I like make the dance, kind of?
basically?
Okay, so that was a tough one. So first, when I was looking at it, I was looking at it as doing like anxiety and stuff, but I wanted to make it so like everyone could see a different aspect of it, so I didn't try to make it really like noticeable. Like you could see it sometimes with the scratching, but actually when I saw, when I finished the dance, other people had different perspectives. Some people saw that it was a toxic relationship. Some people saw that it was mainly like relationships. It's like two people. And my art piece, there was like this part where it's just a blank space. But when I saw it at the, yeah, you can't see it. But when I saw it at the, what was it called? That museum? Crystal Bridges. On the edges, it was just like splattered. It was just like scraped there. And I thought that was very powerful because it's showing that they're hiding something and you don't really know what it is and everyone has their own interpretation of it.
Anybody else? Yeah. Hi, everyone. Oh, thanks. Hi, my name is Amy Bramlett Turner, and I'm the dance director for 7 through 12 dance here at the wonderful Hot Springs School District. Thank you so much for coming out to see our student choreography showcase 2, Art in Motion. Just a few housekeeping things. Please silence all cell phones, because what you're about to see is just fantastic, y'all. I cannot tell you, this whole process, it's not just about tonight, it's about the entire process. So I'm going to take you down our process very quickly before we get started, because I know that you're anxious to see all the things. Back in November, I was so lucky to be able to take IB Dance, Dance 3-4, and Dance Troupe to Crystal Bridges. We did a tour through, we got to eat lunch, it was just fabulous. And we did it all in one day, it was a lot of driving. But it was amazing because the students got to go around and choose their own artwork that inspired them. And I gave them writing prompts along the way to, let me get this over here, I'm sorry. There's too many voices in my head already, y'all. Okay. I gave them writing prompts to just try to get their voices outside of them, and sometimes that's hard. So we did that. We found our visual art pieces, and we came back. We had a guest teacher in our classroom. I brought in Anthony Tidwell from Cutwell for Kids, who does amazing things for our community. He came in and he talked to the students about art devices and really breaking down fine art, because a lot of people don't necessarily think of dance as art, and it totally is. And with visual art, there's really a lot of connections. So we broke down visual art and kind of translated it to choreographic elements. So, because there's a lot of overlap. So if you look to your right, we're going to have a projection run by our very own Miss Maddie Brown. Say hey. Hi. She is wonderful, and she might be regretting the day she came in and said, Miss B, I want to be involved in dance. And I said, okay, girl, get ready. But if you look to your right, she's our projector queen, and she's going to be flipping through. Between dances, she will be changing the screen so that you can see each piece's inspiration. So you might be very clear the connection between the visual art and the dances, and it might not. So I think, and then at the end, we're going to have a very short Q&A. If you want to ask the choreographers any questions, we did it earlier with our student show, and it was, I wish we videoed it, y'all. It was so amazing. The kids were just asking questions about the process and the choreography, like how they came up with movement, and we call movement motif. That is something that is repeated in a dance over and over. And so before I bore you with my dance theory knowledge, we're going to go on with the show, but I wanted you to know how much work goes into this process. After we did all of that first lecture and the field trip to Crystal Bridges, the students started creating work. And this is an IB assessment that we have IB Dance this year, starting this year, so which is super cool. I know. It's very cool. So this was really a composition. This is one of the assessments that they have to do for IB. They have to make 2 choreographic works. So for Dance Troupe and Dance 3-4, this is something that they get exposed to well before they're actually in the IB dance class. So it makes it much more attainable, much more accessible. So they start choreographing on each other. I don't let them choreograph on themselves because I want them to practice communicating and articulating exactly what's in their head and getting it out in a respectful, professional way. And that's a lot, y'all. Then we have work the work sessions where they present their works and their peers give them feedback about what they saw, if they have any questions about it, and how they interpreted it. And so that really, they say that is the most helpful for them. They enjoy that part a lot, I think. So we do that 2 rounds, and then we come up with this show. So not all the works that were produced, that were created, will be in the show because they auditioned to put them on the stage. But this is a very good representation of all the assessments. I do have to tell you that some of the works, they are their voices, right? This is not my opinion. It is not the viewpoint of Hot Springs School District. It is the student's voice. So this is just like them writing a song or painting an artwork. Like, this is their voice and their expression. So it is an academic, artistic, beautiful way for them to express themselves. So just keep that in mind because, sometimes our viewpoints are strong, right? So I guess without further ado, let's get on with the show, okay? Y'all enjoy.
I know I have the best of time and space, and was never measured, and never will be measured.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory, 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 oh,
hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Everyday women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, the spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Shots be on the ground, the camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up.
glory, glory.
we pledge allegiance to your flag of the United States of America and to your republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for who? For you, for some, not for us, not for our people. So please stop saying we equal with your flag of red, white, and blue in one hand. You beat us until we're black and blue with the other beat us, until we're none beat us, until we can't walk straight. Then you put us in chains if we lucky. But for the ones of us who are so lucky, you tell us to put our hands up as some type of sick tribute to your privilege, and then you pull the trigger into our bodies, lay down on your ground, pull the trigger until your clip is empty, pull the trigger until we make your evening news, and then when our children cry, we have to look our children in the eyes and tell them that they have to be cautious. That when they walk your streets, they have to do so in fear, that they have to spend an entirety of their life looking over their shoulder, because you will hunt them down. And you will bury them. Either in a prison system that aims to disenfranchise them or the dirt beneath their feet. And this is all because of that same racism that you love to say no longer exists. But we all know that same racism is the reason that when we want to put a hood on, we resist. The reason that when we go to get these jobs, we're dismissed at the door. The reason that when we go to shop, we're watched in your stores. That racism is the reason that us saying your Pledge of Allegiance feels a lot like a root canal, or a whip's impact against our flesh, or a baton to our head, or a bullet in our back, or tear gas at a Black Lives Matter protest. That racism is the reason that 3 women clenched their purses as I walked through the entrance of this very building. It hurts that I have to remember that the system I was born into was built to work against me. Hurts that I have to remember. Hurts that I have to remember. Hurts that I actually have to remember that you will happily invest more money into the preservation of wildlife than you ever will into the preservation of black life. Let me ask y'all a question. When y'all turn on your TVs and witness another black body laid on your concrete, what do y'all see? Another murder? Another sad story? Another funeral? Do you see the aftermath? I see another child that lost their father, another single woman trying to raise a man, another broken home which leads to another child that grows up and suffers the same fate as their father, which means another black woman that outlives her adolescent son. This country practices a culture that lacks equal rights for blacks, and we love to say that black don't crack. Meanwhile, y'all shatter our melanin like blacks. My back breaks for everybody you lay at our feet. For every memory I try to erase within your war zones. Late nights revealed my PTSD has found its way to the surface. And my hate for this country reminds me that I'm far from patriotic, so it's a little ironic that I pledge allegiance
to your flag of the United States of America and to your republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for who? For you, not for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, our light board is experiencing some issues today, because why not do that today, you know? But the show will go on. We are adjusting, so just give us 1 minute and we will get right back on track. beautiful and smart and like so light board went out again. But we reset it because we learned how to fix that today, and we fixed it, and it's fine. So everybody pray for light and sound gods that it doesn't do that again, okay? But how professional they are. And speaking of, our entire show, like I know I look official with like a headset and everything, but I'm just there, I'm on a headset in case of emergency. Our entire show is run by students. Lydia Godwin, she's our 9th grade, brilliant lighting designer. When I tell you she's brilliant, y'all, yes. She is going places. Lydia is different than typical light designers. Lighting designers often, they have a light board, they record cues, and then during a show, they can press go, go. And they just have to remember when to press go. Not this young lady. This young woman, she not only works individually with all the choreographers in 2 rehearsals, in 2 10-minute rehearsals, but she does all of the lighting cues live. So all the lighting cues that you're seeing, the choreographers designed, and they worked with Lydia and communicated with her, but she's the one doing it live, like in the moment every time. So it's just amazing, and like she's going places, y'all. She's gonna be lighting the Grammys one day and all kinds of Broadway shows, all the things, okay? On sound, we have Miss Ernie Surter. Hello. Say hi, Ernie. Yes, he's wonderful. He is our quick thinking one. He makes him and our Allie Garner, who's also a junior with Ernie, they manage the show. They make everything go on back there. Then we have backstage stage managers, Janet Sanchez, she's over there, she's on stage right, and Alicia Daniels is on stage left, and they are just, they make it happen. They do everything. So I know I look very official with my headset, but I really don't do anything until the light board goes out, and then I run. Raven Selman, she's our dance manager, and she knows where everything is. Yes, girl, yes. And then we have our fabulous National Honor Society members. Those are the young ladies that are outside selling concessions and selling the tickets and working the projection. They are part of our National Honor Society for Dance Arts, and they get points, and they do all these wonderful things, and they're just wonderful. So before I let you get up and stretch your legs for a second, we are videoing the show, and so we will have DVDs for sale. They will be $10. We have, so we want to thank Mr. Wilson. Thanks, Mr. Wilson. There you go. Love you. And of course, we want to thank our building principal, Ms. Kylie Sims, who's back there with our precious and the rest of our administration, because without them, this wouldn't be possible, right? Yeah, I think that was all. Okay, so I'm going to let you get up. We're going to just take a really quick 5-minute intermission. If you want some chocolate or some candy out there, go get some.
the people, the steeple of our country that we hold so dear, do salute and sing to this tune, even though we do not hear. The pleas of the land and its ancestors, the corruption we bring has been allowed to fester. Here we stand, but yet thinking into the consequences of our thinking that this is us, and us is all. Who are regaled about our greatest achievements, others fall short and are allowed to suffer. Still through it all, we are able to muster the energy to fight for money while the rich laugh, because it's funny. Greed and bigotry, at its best, is not what America is. America is so much more than what we label it as. We, the people.
I was able to push him off because of previous experiences that I had had where I didn't.
I got this job at this restaurant.
It's my first job right out of school. I was working with the school district.
I was so scared that I didn't say anything at the time. Women are generally not
It's really hard for women in the business because you don't want to lose your job. You want to be able to get a job.
The person who's doing it is like invisible. It's this invisible face.
Even now, I kind of just like blame myself for that. Like, if I would have known, if I would have just said no. There's so many ifs.
She, in the dark, found light, brighter than many ever seen. She, within herself, found loveliness through the soul's own mastery. And now the world receives from her dower the message of the strength of inner power.
Women who live with this, who are survivors of it, or who deal with it in any way, they are the courageous ones. That's the courage, is to move forward and to keep going. That's the courageous warrior in all of us.
Tell your story.
Okay, so that was our show, all completely created by these beautiful, brilliant young minds, from costume to lighting to everything, every music choices compilation, that's all them. Isn't that amazing? Like, ridiculous, I know. So I don't want to hold you hostage, I know it's a school night, and but I did want to give you the opportunity because it was so wonderful to hear feedback from the audience this afternoon with the students. You want to sit? You don't want to sit? You can sit in your justice. Does anybody have any comments about what you saw, something that touched you, something that made you think, like when you saw the painting or the artwork, that you didn't see any, like you didn't see a connection, or maybe you saw the connection, really saw it, right? Does anybody have anything that they want to offer to these brilliant young women? Oh, Miss Edgin does. Go, Reagan, go, Reagan. Thanks, Miss Desmond. Look, we have 2 microphones in this auditorium now, so we can do this. Look at that. A black and a gold. Haha. Okay, go.
So, I've known most of you since you were, some of you since you were in kindergarten. I am so amazed at how you took that artwork and turned it into movement and turned it into words with your body. And to see you ladies and gentlemen become such wonderful artists makes my heart sing. You guys know I love to sing, right? But it just makes me so proud to know that you've taken what Miss Bramlett has been able to give you and turned it into such a wonderful gift that you can share with the world. And it just makes it just moved me. It was beautiful, and you guys all did such a wonderful job.
Anybody else? Anything that tickled your heart or maybe made you be like, oh, I felt that way? Oh, come on, y'all. The kids were like, oh, they had lots of things to say.
I really liked Letter to Your Pride. Like, that was like really powerful, and I really loved it.
That was Ashanti. Ashanti did perform in her work because her dancer wasn't able to, so we make that exception when we have to. But the rule is you can't be in your work because you have to be able to articulate and communicate. Does anybody want to talk about their process, about how terrible or wonderful it is? Anybody? Okay, go.
It was really hard because I'm a dancer. Some of my dancers, they didn't have like as much dance experience as I had. And like one of them, she did. But putting your work onto someone else is really hard because what you want to portray, you don't want to be too vulgar with it, but you don't want to just not be able to explain what you want to be heard in a dance.
That's hard. Anybody else want to talk about your process? Experience? Oh, okay. I'll go. You stay there.
The one that did empathy, I was very interested in that thought process and how you came up with that dance.
This is a hard one. Okay. So I had seen this artwork. It's just a great piece at Crystal Bridges about a year or 2 ago, the last time we went, and it just stuck into my mind. And Miss B was like, okay, we're doing our piece. And that was the first piece that came into my mind. And I thought that was so weird because it didn't have anything. It was just like this gray part, which really stuck out to me. It was just a great thing. And when I did this dance, when I saw the portrait, I just felt very anxious. And like, it just felt my anxiety. And I thought, okay, let me do a dance about anxiety. And then like, as time went on and like my life went on, I portrayed that into my dance. And I think that it's not really about anxiety. It can be whatever you want to be. It's, what's that word? Shallow? It's like, I can't think of the word. Yeah, it can just be interpreted however you want. Some people saw a toxic relationship. Some people saw two people trying to like, are connected but can't leave again. And you can, I don't know what it is either. So I couldn't tell you. Oh, the edges of that artwork, it's like it's just brushed over. Like it has no, what's it called? Yeah, it's not clean cut. It's just brushed over like it didn't matter. And I thought that was really like, it stuck out to me a lot. Yeah.
Haley, your red glove was pretty impressive and your moves were unbelievable. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so my artwork, it was like, it had like a lot of color and like pop and magical, and then if you could see like the main part on it is like a big clock, so I wanted to use that in my dance. And I took that and it's actually 3 different audio pieces put together, and I used that. And I really wanted to, like, for like the color, because you can't really like show like a bunch of different colors in dance. I mean, you can have the lights and the costuming and everything, but like to show the colors, I wanted to put like different, like, almost like different dynamic of dance moves. So I had like the jumps, and then I had like the smoother things, and then I had like the ticking. So I just kind of put it all together so it had a lot of contrasting things so that it represented the artwork well.
It's very powerful.
Thank you.
That was the artwork that won Haley the first Arkansas Dance Network scholarship at our dance festival this year. So she has a scholarship waiting on her. Okay, anybody else? Burning questions, thoughts, desires? Yes, Ms. Sims.
Well, so the sculptures, they are women and they are nude. So they're very vulnerable women, I would think, and there's 2 of them. Like there's an entry and there's one on each side of the door. So I was like, okay, it could be a duet and there'll be vulnerable women. So there's a duet with vulnerable women. And Jalen had one.
I'm right here. Hello. I have a mic over here. Thank you. So whenever I first saw the sculpture, I thought at first I was like, oh, she's naked. And she's vulnerable. And it really amazed me that she wasn't looking like straight forward. She was looking away. So yeah, I just decided that I took her not being directly facing you in my dance, basically. That's how I can explain it. It's the only way you're gonna get it. What is it? Oh, yeah. Is it inappropriate? It's inappropriate. All right, thank you, Hospital School District. We'll see you tomorrow.
Go to Mr. Matthews right there.
Red piece.
Hello, Mr. Matthew.
Okay, my question I think is for Jalen. The date that you did, we can understand that as a choreographer that you control like the way a dancer moves, or you talk about that. But I noticed also that like the way the light moved across the stage, and to me it looked like it was emulating a day as it started on one side and it finished on another. I mean, do you choreograph that part as well? Is that part of what you have to think about as a dance process, or is it just the dance moves?
I got you. Sorry, I didn't know. Oh, sorry. So, as a choreographer, whenever we first began the project, well, I'm a senior this year, so I did this last year, and I kind of had an idea of what I could do with the lights that our school has provided us. Thanks to Lydia, she's the one that was controlling the lights. She's pretty amazing. She controlled all of our lights herself, and that's pretty big for her or anyone that can ever do that. So as a choreographer, you know, we make our dance, but we also have to think about costume and lighting and what shoes they wear, how they have their hair, if they're gonna wear earrings, if they're gonna wear lipstick. So as a choreographer, I thought that most of the time it's just a bright white light. But I wanted to give you that kind of, but in the beginning of the dance, it's kind of nighttime, and it's kind of, everybody thinks she's sleeping, and it's like her body awakens and she's becoming herself. She wants to show everybody who she is, and that's how I did it.
And then there, you asked about the red circle. Somebody did. Oh, we can do that one. We didn't do that one. So that's chromatic. Chromatic did that one. And then Maddie also had laser. So since I'm on your end first, JJ Woodford, you talk about your chromatic.
Okay, so the red circle, I chose that one because when you look at it, you can see black and white, but also if you look at it from a different angle, it shows you all the different colors. And so I thought that it was cool to show that not everything's black and white, so everything's colorful, so you can do different things. And so that's why I decided to do my dance like that.
I chose it because I really liked it, and no, I really, no, like in person, I really appreciated how when you look through it, it looked black and white, but it was not. So I chose it because I like creepy dances, creepy, weird dances. They're effective. Hey, I'm not done. I'm not done. Goodness. Okay, so I wanted a creepy and weird dance. So I got Emery. Because she's weird like I am. So chose her, and I saw the red dot as a laser, and that she was hiding from that laser. So I made that into a dance. And I changed it, the laser with a Z. Because it's weird. They're not allowed to say I like in dance. When we, like, you know, when I use the example So You Think You Can Dance. Love the show because it brings dance to homes, right? But kind of hate it because the judges don't say anything. They're like, oh, that was amazing. Like, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. Like, what does that tell us? How does that make us better? It doesn't do anything for us. So part of the critical response process is that they're not allowed to say what they like. We don't care what you like. We want to know what you saw. And so that's why they say, I really saw something. So that's why they're giggling. It was very effective, and that makes them speak more clearly and more specifically about what they see and articulate all the different details that caught their eye. And so that way the choreographer knows that they're conveying their message how they want, you know, how they're intending to. So.
What I see is an amazing group of young people, and speaking from probably two of the oldest people in the room, you give us so much hope and joy. And, you know, there's just so much productive activity and thought that go, it is amazing. And I didn't fully understand until you started speaking that I thought the person interpreting the dance was I thought you were the person that picked the dance. I didn't understand fully that you had someone else express your thoughts, and which is even more astounding, I think. And if in our world today, if more people could articulate their thoughts through other people and have that much empathy and understanding, we would be so much better off.
Okay, we won't hold you captive for any longer because we know that it's a school night. But just thank y'all so much. So we're going to select a few of these. So if you have feedback as which ones should be selected, a few will be performed in our show April 9th. We hope at the Hot Springs Junior Academy Auditorium, where we usually are for our spring show. And that'll be April 9th. It's a Thursday at 1 and at 6. Tickets are still $2.